So, in case you haven't been paying attention, the Atlanta Hawks are officially back. If you haven't been watching preseason, you're probably not in the know. You probably only know that they had the number one draft pick, Zachary Risachet, who looked pretty good in summer league, but not exactly a world changer. So you're probably just thinking it's going to be another run-of-the-mill Atlanta Hawks season. Well, I'm here to tell you it's probably going to look like one of the greatest seasons they've had probably over the last 10 years. But I'm going to dive into that in this video. Before I do, this video is being brought to you by Bridges and Stones Family and Relationship Care. If you are struggling with your mental health or relationship, go to bridgesandstones.com and contact them for your free consultation today. One brave act today can create a better tomorrow. Remember, none of us make it alone. The link is in the description box below. You know, I've been trying to do this video, honestly, like probably 3, 4 different times. But every time I do the video, I come back and I watch another preseason game. I see another roster lineup. I see another set of potentially rotational players who are showing incredible ability, showing the ability to play not just around Trae Young, but to add value to Trae Young. And so I'm going to dive into that in this video. I'm going to talk about the roster. I'm going to talk about a shift in the identity and culture of this team. And finally, my outlook for this team. The first thing that I want to talk about is that this team is incredibly deep. Incredibly deep. I probably haven't seen this type of a deep team for the Atlanta Hawks probably since they won 60 games. And if I'm honest with you, it's probably a little bit deeper. Now, I don't know if all the players are going to rise to the occasion of that roster, of the Al Horford and the Paul Millsap and Jeff Teague and Kyle Korver and DeMar Carroll. I don't know if they're going to rise to that level. But I will say that they have a lot of similar components as that team had. One of the main things that I see about this roster right now is that this is a team that has a lot of what I would call heady players. Guys who play the game in their head. They're not just reactionary. They're not just trying to run and jump and shoot a bunch of threes and, try to look like Kobe. They're actually out there reading the game. Where do I need to be? Who's open? Who needs the ball? Where am I on the court? What play is there to be made? If you watch this preseason game, one of the guys that I'm probably most excited about is Dyson Daniels. Dyson Daniels is an international player, came through the G League Ignite program. For those of y'all who still trash in the G League Ignite, a whole lot of high-level NBA players, lottery picks, have come out of that program. So shout out to them for that. But to say that Dyson Daniels is one of those guys on the court who is constantly making plays. If you watched him in preseason, he is constantly finding himself around the ball, whether it's rebounds, whether it's tip-ins or putbacks, whether it's cutting off the ball to bail out a guy who gets trapped along the baseline, whether it's getting key rebounds on the offensive or defensive side, whether it's getting into passing lanes or getting his hands on the ball as a point guard is bringing the ball down. He's constantly making plays. Not just that, but he's also making plays by being a facilitator, a passer. He's someone who you can pass the ball and know that he's not going to jack up a shot immediately. And those are the type of guys that I call connectors. Those are the guys who allow you to get into the flow of an offense, who spread the ball around, who keep everybody happy because the ball is moving. This last preseason game that we just saw, you saw the Atlanta Hawks probably move the ball on average 4 to 5 times every single possession. Every time that they set up in half court, you saw probably 4 to 5 passes being made. Skip passes, passes to cutters, then pivoting out, kicking to the opposite corner, pump fake, attack the rim, kick the ball out to the top of the key. The ball was moving. This looked like something probably out of the Golden State Warriors in their heyday offense. But what teams are realizing, especially the more higher basketball IQ veteran teams are realizing, is that when you're moving the ball, you force the defense to work. And in doing so, it's almost like body shots on a boxer. It has an attrition effect, meaning that it begins to sap the energy from the other team slowly but surely throughout the game. And you begin to be able to score more and more easily, where guys are able to conserve their strength but also feel involved in the offense. And this is extremely important. This is one of the signifiers of a team that's going to have an extremely efficient and high-level offense. On top of Dyson Daniels, I definitely like what I see out of DeAndre Hunter. I think he's more in a role that suits him. He's a guy who's catch and shoot, catch and attack, kind of like a Andrew Wiggins for the Golden State Warriors. They're not looking for him to be a connector. He's going to be a finisher of plays. And then you got Jalen Johnson, who looks like he's probably due for an all-star season. What we're seeing in this preseason is a guy that's ready. He looks physically bigger so that he can take more of a physical load and taking fouls and hits and getting to the free throw line. But he's also playing with the level of swagger and confidence that you generally see from the guys who are going to be due for a big year. And then you see Clint Capella, the incumbent veteran who I think in a contract year is going to do nothing short of his double-double on an extremely efficient offensive end. And he's going to cover the rim more now that he's got more support on his backside and getting those rebounds. Now, then when we look to the bench, this is actually where I'm really excited. I want to start off with talking about Kobe Buffkin. Look, I did the past video, and I was like, yo, I don't know if Kobe Buffkin is ready for the role that he's going to be having to step in as the primary backup point guard. And then I see this last preseason game. I'm watching this dude slice up this team. I'm watching Kobe Buffkin get to wherever he wants on the court, get into his bag, into his pull-up. He's moving around on the court, and not just as if he belongs there, but as if he's running things. He's out there like, look, I'm not worried about anybody stealing this ball from me. I'm not even worried about making a bad play. I'm just looking to make the play to get off either my shot or set someone else off. When you have that type of swagger as a guard, it kind of reminds me of how Jeff Teague was running that 60-win Atlanta Hawks team, and then you had Dennis Schroeder, who we recognize now is an extremely high-level, probably six-man backup point guard. Right? As a starter, he's unspectacular. He's solid. He's good. He's not necessarily like lead you to the promised land as your primary scorer, right? But he's a damn good backup. He's probably an all-star backup point guard. And I think that Kobe Buffkin is going to be exactly that behind Trae Young. And that I love that dynamic because, one, it's going to save a lot of miles on Trae Young. This is something I talk about all the time. You don't want your best players having to always play heavy minutes. Over an 82-game season, it will wear them down. It will make them more susceptible to what they call soft tissue injuries. You know, the strains and the pulls and the contusions that end up taking longer to recover from, right? Stuff that just doesn't feel right, knees that feel achy or tendonitis and things like that. These are all soft tissue issues that come from wear and tear. So you want to have depth at your star player's position. But then you don't even stop there. You got Bogdan Bogdanovic, my man out here after having a great Olympic series with the Serbian national team and Nikola Jokic. Yo, he looked like Jamal Murray. He looked like Jamal Murray working off of a Nikola Jokic. And it's funny, y'all, I said this many times. I'm not too sure if the Denver Nuggets switched out Jamal Murray for Bogdan Bogdanovic, that he couldn't do the same thing. I'm just throwing that out there. Bogdanovic is a bad dude. He's a bad boy. Anyways, I don't even want to stop there. The other players I see that are going to probably make a big difference coming off the bench is none other than the number 1 draft pick, Zachary Risacher. This kid looked ready. He looked ready in that preseason game. Not just in Summer League, but in this preseason game, you saw somebody who understood where to be. He understood the assignment. He understood this is what I'm being asked of. And I'm going to be able to play my role to a T, but not just that, also to be able to get out and maybe do a couple extra things. Maybe do a little playmaking. Show that I can get to the cup when I need to. And at 6'9", with about a 6'11", 7-foot wingspan, this young man is going to really be able to do some things if he consistently is able to perform at that level. I don't think he's quite yet at the Brandon Miller level in terms of like handle and wiggle and being able to get into tight spots and make your body small and then extend out over guys in the way that Paul George does. I don't think he's quite there yet, but I think what he's showing you is that he just might get there. He just might get there. This could be the future behind DeAndre Hunter. I think so. Even if he just kind of stays kind of where he's at, he kind of reminds me of Danny Granger, a catch and shoot guy. He's not as strong as Granger yet, but I think he's going to fill out. He has the frame. He has the shoulders, that says that he's going to be able to put on some muscle and mass over the years. And you don't want him to do it too fast, but he's going to be able to. The other guy that I want to talk about is Onyeka Okongwu. Onyeka Okongwu, I like his game. The big O. I like his game through and through. I liked seeing in preseason that he was taking threes. He was taking it with confidence. And even though he wasn't able to consistently knock it down at the rate that we might like, he was knocking it down. He knocked down the first one. He took it with confidence. It was nothing but net. And then the others were a little bit off. But I think he's going to taper that out. And it's going to end up somewhere around 2 to 3 3-point attempts a game, which is perfect for him. Bringing him, stretching him out to that 3-point line, I think is going to be great. And then you also have Larry Nance Jr., another veteran, 31 years old, is going to be able to add some depth. And I think that those two, even if they play together at times, which I think they're going to be able to because they have the lateral mobility and the length and strength to alternate between both front court positions. I think both of them show that they can shoot threes and they're going to shoot threes in the system. But a couple other guys that I want to shout out. David Roddy. I've always liked him. Got drafted by Memphis. He was one of those kind of tough, physical guys, kind of like a Bonzi Wells type. But he just needed to get that 3-point shot around. He needed to extend that range. And we knew it was going to take a little bit of time. And I think that he's done just that, but he's in a system now that's going to be more suited to him, where he has playmaking all around him and he can be that finisher. He also has the ability to play make for others, which I like as well. And then you got Vit Krejci. If I'm saying his name right, I know y'all always correct me if I'm not, so feel free to do so in the comment section. I think he's going to be a great addition. He's got great size. He looks like he's around 6'8", lanky, kind of reminds me of Andrei Kirilenko, just does a lot of little things, once again, as another connector. And then Muhammad Gay. Yo, I like this dude. This dude's like 6'9" and change. He's long. Looks like he's got an over 7-foot wingspan. He's shown that he could shoot the three, could put the ball on the floor. But most importantly, he makes really good decisions. He makes really good decisions with the ball in his hands. He finds the open man. He understands the assignment, how to find the shooters, how to find the key guys. And then when those guys aren't open, he's able to make a play. He's able to get to the rim. He's able to try to finish. And he does a lot of the dirty work too. Offensive glass, defensive glass, getting out in transition, catch and finish. He had a great dunk the other night that I was like, oh, that's what we're doing? On Chet Holmgren? That's what you do? Okay, bet, say less. You look ready. All that's to say is this roster looks legit. Like, it looks legit. And if I'm honest with you, just to transition into the shift in identity and the outlook of this team, this team, I think is probably the best team that Trae Young has had around him since he got to the Hawks in his entire career. He's got a bunch of connectors, and I keep using that term because many times point guards will pass the ball and they know they're never going to get it back, right? Like in Detroit, when you have a bunch of guys who are shot chuckers, shot makers, guys who just want to catch the ball and get a shot up quickly, right? And they know once they pass that ball, it's done. So they stop moving. They stop looking to get open because nobody's going to move that ball around. It's not going to get back to them. But you contrast that with a team like the Indiana Pacers, and it's going to kind of segue to my outlook, a little sneak peek there. The Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton, he gets all those assists, but not all those assists are done kind of like the James Harden where, okay, I'm going to dominate the ball and then pass to you at the last moment, and you just catch and shoot or catch and finish, right? Some guys do that well, but it generally doesn't bode well in the playoffs. But if you watch Tyrese Halliburton, he'll give that ball up in the first 5 seconds of the shot clock. And then he'll keep moving on the court and get the ball right back. And that allows him to get his defender on the move. Now he doesn't have to necessarily beat his man off the dribble every single time. He doesn't have to have the primary focus of the defense locked in on him. Other guys are moving and making plays, and he's able to get the ball back as a shooter. And I think that that's something we're going to see Trae Young be able to enjoy in this season, is that he's able to pass that ball up and get it right back. And when he gets it right back, he'll be able to catch and shoot or get it on the move and continue making a play, getting to the teeth of the defense and playmaking for somebody else. So I love the connectors on this team, and that's Jalen Johnson, that's Vit Krejci, that's Dyson Daniels, this is Bogdan Bogdanovic. There's a lot of high IQ, Onyeka Okongwu, Larry Nance, even Zachary Rissache and Kobe Buffkin. These are guys who can make plays for others, including their star point guard. The last thing I want to talk about is the identity of this team. I think it has shifted. It is no longer a heliocentric offense that is depending upon Trae Young to do everything, and then you're banking on a highly efficient offense and a really weak defense. I think they're going to have a great defense this season. I think they're going to have the type of defense that's probably going to be somewhere around top 15. Now, as always, all my prognoses are based upon health. If guys are healthy, this is what you're going to see. But I think they actually have a lot of depth to actually make up for it, even if guys get hurt. They're going to have guys who could come in off the bench and play big minutes, 20 plus minutes a game, and still supplement what this team is trying to do collectively. Maybe not the individual talent, but they're going to be able to do a collective effort that's going to allow the offense to remain efficient. I think it's going to be probably top 10 offense in the league, if not higher. And then they're also going to be a top 15 defense. So my outlook for this team, I think it's going to be very similar to what the Indiana Pacers were able to do last season, especially if they had stayed healthy the whole year. And I'm talking about Mathurin and Tyrese Halliburton that stayed healthy. I think they could be a number 5 seed. I'm going to say it straight up. I think they could be a number 5 seed. I have more faith in the Atlanta Hawks offense than I do the Orlando Magic or the Miami Heat. And I think both those teams are going to be good this season, but I have far more faith on this team on both ends of the court. Not just defense, but also offense. Orlando's going to be great on defense. I don't know if the upgrades that they made is going to allow them to have a high-level offense. But as always, I want to know what you all think. Holler at me in the comment section if you agree, disagree. Let me know what you think of the video. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. I'm going to get at y'all next time. Peace.